Alright, so as you can see, I've made quite a bit of progress here. The Eagle is just about ready to be put together here now. I wanted to show you the wiring and the interior of the passenger pod. Let me just go ahead and take this off here for you. Alright, so pretty much everything's ready to go here to finally be assembled. You can see there's two batteries here. Again, one is for the landing gear and the lights around the door, and then we've got one for the strobe effect and the cockpit. Now, I did have to reconfigure the strobe effect because, as you remember, I had planned to put the strobe here and back here. Unfortunately, there was a mishap and I carelessly wired one of the lights directly to the 9-volt without even thinking. I should have wired it through here, and it completely blew out the chip light. So at first I was going to completely give up on the strobe effect, but basically this system just requires regular SMD chip size lights, so I did have a couple extra, and I decided to just move away from putting it inside here. Instead, I have placed it on the exterior. There's going to be one just underneath the command module and one that will be shining and blinking near the tanks of the engines there. So you'll get to see that effect at the very end here. In the meantime, I am now putting together the command module, just doing some final touches. You can see the wiring here. It's going to go through this hole, through the cage here, and finally wired into the power source back here. One other thing I'll show you once I'm completed here is I'll turn the Eagle over and I'll be able to show you how the switches worked out. Really happy the way they blended in. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and start piecing everything together. We still have a couple things with the landing gear to do, installing the springs and so forth. So I will show you the completed ship here in just a second. Alright guys, here we now have the completed ship. Again, this is the Round 2 Space 1999 Eagle. It's a 1/48 scale version of the ship and measures 22 inches from front to back. As compared to my previous build, this one does not have the red striping. This one instead is a standard version that you typically see on the television show. And as you saw during the build, the one thing I did this time is create my own decals so that we could add some more detailing here to the hull of the ship. And you can see overall they worked out pretty well. Added some nice detailing here to the pods and to the passenger pod. Another detail that I added were these sensor dishes. These are not the ones that are included with the kit. These are in fact made of aluminum, and they were manufactured by a gentleman named Michael Reeder, or Mike Reeder. You can find him on the Space 1999 Props and Ships Facebook page. I'm not sure if he's still making them. Hopefully he is, because they really do add a nice touch to your model. And as with my first build, I did use the Alclad paints for the engine bells, both with the main engines here as well as those that are scattered along the bottom of the ship. Really highly recommend it. Alclad's great at giving you a very nice finish. Really mimics the look of metal quite nicely. Well, I'm sure you're anxious to see the lighting, so let me go ahead and turn it on for you. Alright, so the first lights I'll turn on for you now are the ones for the landing gear and the door. And we have identical lights on the opposite side of the ship. I'm not going to move the camera around too much here because I am in low lighting and it tends to make the video kind of jerky. So I'll show you the other side of the ship in just a second. But very much the look I was after. As you remember at the beginning of the video, I mentioned there is a lighting kit available for the landing gears. And I decided not to go with that effect. The lighting that I wanted was really just to illuminate the landing gear in a downward fashion, as you see here. And I would just picture this, providing extra lighting for the ship when it is in a landed position on a planet or on a mission somewhere. And as for the doorway, I just thought it made sense to have a lamp like that shining down. So again, it's something that you don't see on the TV show at all. I just thought it would look cool, and I think it really turned out well. And here is the starboard side of the ship. Turning on now the cockpit lights. Very similar system that I installed in my first Eagle. It's just one LED that you see there lighting up the cockpit. I tinted it an orange-yellow color. And it does a really nice job at illuminating the cockpit, giving us some look at the interior detailing, as well as a look at the astronauts that are piloting the ship. Alright, so next I'm going to turn on the strobe effects. Let me go ahead and turn off the landing lights and the door light. And this effect turned out really, really nice. I'm very happy with it. As you recall, I was going to install the strobe lights on the pods, but I'm really glad that I ended up doing it this way. Now, I have to give credit to a friend of mine named Mark Fraley. He was in the Air Force for many years and is very familiar with all types of aircraft. And I was talking to him about the lighting effect that I wanted to achieve here. And I told him how the strobes were not working, or I had that mishap. And so I was telling him I was going to install these on the exterior of the ship. And so he gave me this idea of placing the strobes as you see them here. And in my opinion, actually this looks better than what I originally envisioned. And again, I want to mention that this kit is available from modeltrainsoftware.com. It's very inexpensive, really runs around 20 bucks. And it just comes with that circuit board that I showed you there. And the kit is available with up to 6 chip size SMD lights. Again, I had them custom make mine or wire it to include just 2 because we really didn't need 6 for this particular project. And here is a view looking down the nose here of the aircraft. You can see the 2 pilots in the inside. I'm sorry that the video is bleaching out here. It doesn't quite capture the details that I'd like you to see. But the interior lighting is not as bright as you see here. I purposely made it a little dimmer so that it doesn't look too bright as you're looking into that cockpit. Giving you a look now at the chip size light that I have installed here on the aft section of the ship. You can see it's resting right here amongst the rest of the detail. The nice thing about these chip size lights, they fit just about anywhere. All I did was I super glued it to the exterior here. It has a very thin wire, so you just drill a really small hole. You can't even see the size of the hole there. And just feed it through. So the wire is fed through here, through this caged area, or this section here, and wired into the passenger pod with the rest of the lighting. And just giving you a look now at the underside of the ship where you can see the switches are mounted here. I used 3 push switches so that you can power each of the lights separately. So you can turn on the cockpit light, the strobe light, and the landing gear lights and the door lights are hooked together. And the switches that I use are these push switches here from modeltrainsoftware.com as well. You can see they're pretty low profile. If you're looking at the ship from the side, you don't even see them. They're pretty well hidden. Alright guys, well that pretty much wraps it up here. If you were wondering why I hadn't posted anything during the month of November, this is the reason why I was working on this project. It did take me a little bit longer than I anticipated. I actually had some of the parts already built and painted from my previous build. I was trying to build 2 of them together, but so I didn't think it was going to take quite as long, but between my work schedule and other things going on, it just took me a little bit more time than I anticipated. Alright, well if you have any questions about this, feel free of course to contact me here at my YouTube channel or at interstellarmodeler@gmail.com. Alright, so thanks again for watching. I always appreciate it, and I will see you then in the next one. Take care.
Moonbase Alpha to Eagle 1. Return to base. I repeat, return to base. Please acknowledge.
Affirmative, Alpha. We read you. Affirmative, we are securing ship for launch. Initiate launch sequence.